My name is Brian Burgess. I'm going to show you today how to disassemble and reassemble a 404 well saw. To start the disassembly process, I like to take off the handle first. There are 3 screws. And the handle just pops right off. From this point, you want to remove these 2 screws right here that hold the trigger in place. When you turn the switch around, you're going to want to remove the left side only. From this point, we're going to take the whole tool, stand it on end, and start by taking these off. 4 screws. Sometimes if they do this, you just want to give them a little tap. Pop right up. Now you want to take your brushes out. Once our brushes are out, we're now able to access the saw internally. You could pick this up if it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you just take a hammer, hit this part of the housing, and it'll come right out. Once you pull these 2 out, you should be able to just pull them apart with your hands. We're going to move to the bottom of the unit. Four screws. Push down on your gasket, that's the easiest way to get them out. You can peel it right up. At this point, I have to take all the grease out. We can start by removing our connecting link. Sometimes you want to put something inside just to stop the link from moving. There's 2 nuts, one in the front, one in the back. Link will pop right out. In order to get to the stud, we want to remove the snap ring. Once you remove the snap ring, your gear should slide right off. There's a needle bearing on the bottom. I'm going to show you. Try to pull it out. Sometimes they come with the gear, sometimes they don't. It just slides right over the diameter of this stud. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to flip this over. There's a nut on the inside there that we're going to have to heat. It has red Loctite on it. Now we're going to flip it over. Now if it spins like that, sometimes you just need to put something inside just to stop the nut from spinning. So I use a thin piece right here. Usually wedge it. That's all you really need to do. Turn it, the same thing. Now your stud's out and your nut's out. Now that the disassembly is done, we're going to start the assembly process of the 404 well saw. To start the reassembly, we're going to take this stud, put it through here. And this nut has to go from the back side. So you want to put your finger on here, hold it down, turn it over, and your stud sticks up. Left hand thread. Okay, you want to square the nut up like that. Now I'm going to hit it with the impact from this side. Just like that. Now we're going to start putting the gear together. You start with your needle bearing, slides over top of that shaft. Your gear, and the snap ring that we took off. From this point, I'm going to grab our connecting link, put them on. Sometimes, just a little tap, sits right down. Grab the two nuts. Put them on by hand for now. You want to grab some sort of a piece of stock or whatever you have, put it in here so your link doesn't run around. Tighten them down. Now that these are all tight, I want to take our gasket, fill it up with grease, set this on top. Now there's a certain way that these go. You got to follow the design on the housing. Line it up with these right here. So this one, these two small legs, go up front. Now you want to take your 4 screws. Tighten them down. The bottom is now completed. We want to take the saw now. We want to turn it over. We want to put our armature in. The armature is just going to slide down. Get it in. Try to find the gears lightly. Find it. And then you know it's down. Spin it just to make sure everything goes, which it does. Take your assembled stator. Drop it over top. You have a grommet in the back right here that needs to follow that groove. You press down just like that. You want to take these, put these back on. What this does, ties the whole saw together so it doesn't move anymore. So you want to find it. I want to over tighten them. Now we're going to start by putting our brushes in, the brush holders. Same thing, you want to coil the spring down a little bit. Get that in. Tighten them down. Again, do not tighten these down too hard. They will crack. Same for this side. Now we can take this fixture, put that in there. I'm going to start putting the trigger together. Okay, now this, just going to tuck the wires in neatly. Put this over here. Slide that over the top. Come over. Start one screw first. Start them all, don't sink any of them yet. Once you get them all down, then you can start putting them like that. Make sure your trigger works, which it does. That's a fully assembled 404 well saw.